Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new episode. My name is Chris Rodriguez. We are live here again with another episode. We usually take the day off to do other things around the channel, but we had to get on. We had to get on. There's a lot going on right now, and done deal, ladies and gentlemen. It's Gündoğan is set to join Real Madrid on a free transfer for Manchester City, and it is happening as we speak. It is done. They're closing in on the deal to sign Manchester City captain Gündoğan. This is a good signing for for Barcelona, and a tough loss for Manchester City. I mean, this is a player that they've been battling to keep. Guardiola coming out and saying that they wanted to keep him. That they're going to talk to him. They didn't do much to convince him, really, but just Guardiola coming out and say that they wanted to keep him was a big deal, but still wasn't enough to make it work. And the tough thing is Gündoğan joining Barcelona. I feel like it is more of this is a good club, legendary club type deal. And that's why I'm going to go on the limb and do this rather than what Barcelona has to offer as far as, today. I know they just won. They just won La Liga, and that's an important title. I mean, I don't want to diminish that, and especially since Real Madrid took over. I mean, they weren't able to capitalize, and they weren't able to do their job. I think over 10 points that they took that they got away from, and they were leaders and they won that Liga. But we know that Barcelona is struggling financially. That's something that's been talked about for many years now, coming from the loss of Messi leaving, Suarez, Coleman. I mean, all that drama that was going on. And so signing Gündoğan is actually a good sign for Barcelonistas. I can see that this being a turnaround for Barcelona. Can they? I mean, can he be the best player on the pitch? Could be at some points, but it's just another really good piece. I mean, Gündoğan has been terrific for Manchester City the whole season, this whole treble season. I mean, they won the treble. Let's not just, let's not forget that. You know what I mean? And he was able to do it. He did it, and he was able to help the team succeed. So I don't want to say that this is, not a great signing. This is surely a great signing, but the thing is that Barcelona need to add more pieces in order to make this work. But I mean, you got Gündoğan, who is top class in the center field. You got Lewandowski scoring a lot of goals. I mean, even at his age, he's scoring terrific goals, giving Barcelona 20 to 25, 30 goals per season. And then you got Frankie de Jong. You got a lot of players right there in the midfield and that can perform. You got your goalkeeper, that Ter Stegen, that can still get it done, can still give you trust. He went through tough years also, but he seems like he's settled down. He's able to perform well. So this Barcelona, man, adding good players to the roster, and Gündoğan is top of the cream when it comes to midfielders, and just nothing short of a good deal for Barcelona. At first, I didn't think they could get it done, basically because financial issues. I mean, they couldn't bring Messi. Also, it's a little bit of moving on from Messi. That's why they weren't able to capitalize. However, in that drama right there, I don't want to get too much into that drama, but Barcelona coming out and say that they did offer Messi something, and but he still decided to go to Miami. So, but regardless, I feel like this is a Barcelona that's trying to move on. Arsenal was also interested in Gündoğan, but they weren't able to capitalize. They weren't able to convince him to go there, and I think they wanted Gündoğan and his family wanted a change of scenery. And definitely Barcelona, listen, if you are Madridista, if you are from Atletico Madrid, if you are from Manchester United, it doesn't matter what team you root for. You have to know that Barcelona is still a top team for players. I mean, this is, I know they've been struggling. They've been getting eliminated from the Champions League early, eliminated from the UEFA, um, the Europa League. But players are still wanting to go. Players are still wanting to go to Barcelona. And listen, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is, and they're able to get this accomplished. They haven't been able to get every single player that they want, especially with these financial issues. But look, they tried to get Haaland before, wasn't able to do it clearly. But Gündoğan is actually a pretty good signing. I think it took a little bit of both the player and the team to make this happen, and because I can tell you, Barcelona didn't persuade him because of the money. They didn't do that. So, but Arsenal and other clubs and that are behind Qatar and all those, they wanted to get Gündoğan, also some Saudi Pro League interest right there. But of course, he wasn't going to do that. He wasn't going to go there. And listen, he's out there. He's out there now, going to Barcelona and going to get it done. So Barcelona is trying to stack up on a team that could do something important for Champions League, and we'll see what happens. So meanwhile, Arsenal is moving on to signing Kai Havertz, and that is the next subject. It's a done deal, ladies and gentlemen. We're not gonna. This had been in talks for a long time. For the past couple of days, that Arsenal wanted to get this kid. He is really a terrific kid, a terrific player. Been in the talks for a long time, but to be honest, I wasn't sure that this was going to get done. I really wasn't. I was skeptical of how all of this was transpiring. I wasn't sure if Arsenal could really make it work. I feel like that Chelsea wanted over $100 million for him, and Arsenal offering 50, then 55. It didn't seem like that much of a difference. But listen, Arsenal got it done, and that is the main thing right here. Because one thing I said it yesterday on the last episode. Arsenal have heard their fans last season when they lost the Premier League the way they lost it. They were going to win it, and they let that one go to Manchester City. They do not want to do that again. They don't want to suffer that again. And so, therefore, they're going hard, and they're going to go try and add more pieces aside from Havertz. But listen, this was something I didn't think it was going to happen. And I think the majority of people didn't think it was going to happen. If you're an Arsenal fan, of course, you got hope. But they got it done. And they paid worth around £65 million just to get Havertz. And this is being reported by The Athletic, of course. And Chelsea and Arsenal have agreed to a deal worth around £65 million with Arsenal to sell German forward Kai Havertz in this summer transfer window. And I think this is a terrific player to get, man. I think this is a terrific player to get. Didn't have a great season with Chelsea, but then again, not a lot of players did. Not a lot of players did. This was just a tough season for the Blues. And it is revealed that the Gunners will pay $62 million up front, and then £3 million in add-ons. Personal items are agreed, and a medical will take place due to course of time. More than likely going to be done tomorrow, and he's going to be presented pretty soon with the Arsenal fans, of course. But this is just a great signing by Havertz. Now, on the other hand, Chelsea are aiming to trim their squad under the management of Mauricio Pochettino ahead of the start of next season. They have already agreed to a deal to sell Mateo Kovacic to Manchester City, and N'Golo Kante has left to sign with Saudi club Al Ittihad, and now Havertz is signing with Arsenal. So a lot of players are leaving Chelsea. It's interesting to see how they're going to move forward, because Chelsea is still a big club. It's part of the big five, big six, depending if you want to add Tottenham into that mix. They're part of that big group of clubs, and they just can't afford to not, to say this is a transition year. we're not gonna compete for anything. That's not gonna fly by with the Blue fans. So 3 years ago, the Blue spent around 75 million pounds to sign Havertz. By the way, so they have a loss right there, about 10 million. But listen, I think it's a good deal. And what they were hoping, I remember that correctly, what they were hoping in that signing was that they were going to get him for 75 and then eventually sell him for over 120 million. Didn't happen. Of course, once again, a tough season for all players of Chelsea. And they got the new signing of Enzo Fernandez, that's playing well, World Cup winner now. And they're keeping a few pieces. But also Havertz did not have a great outing in Chelsea shirt for the last 3 seasons. He struggled for consistency and ruthlessness in and around the opposition box when asked to play the false 9 role. That is kind of unfair, though, because if that's not his position, that's not his position. I mean, Havertz's position is being a right winger, or maybe a left winger if you want him to shoot at the goal from distance. So it's kind of unfair to try to play him as a false 9 or as a 9. So I think just that struggle, he couldn't get over the hurdle of just having to do that. And plus, like I said, Chelsea is a big jersey. Chelsea is a big club, so it's not the same as playing with Leverkusen. You know what I mean? So he's only 24 years old, and it is what it is. But he's going to Arsenal. I believe this is a really good signing for the Gunners, man. I think that they're going to be able to. I think he might be able to be consistent, and that's the biggest deal. He wasn't consistent with Chelsea, and so. We'll see. But he also, with that, remember that Champions League, I just mentioned 3 years, but in reality, that Champions League that they beat Manchester City, Havertz was terrific. Havertz was on point. And it is unfair a little bit, the criticism that he gets. I think he's a tremendous player. Also, on his national team, he's not able to, they haven't been able to be good. So the player is not going to be playing. He's not going to be the only one playing great. There's a reason of why Chelsea's whole team sucked last season, and also of why Germany's team sucked last season and still sucking right now, actually. So it'll be a good, interesting topic for the future. But listen, we'll see what happens with Havertz, and we'll see. We'll go from there. By the way, ladies and gents, what is going on with Mourinho? Well, I know what's going on. He's being fined. He's being fined, ladies and gents. What's happening there? He is being fined a 4-match ban by UEFA for his conduct following his side's Europa League final defeat to Sevilla last month. It was a tough match that he lost. But listen, he lost that match because of lack. He didn't do his job. That's crazy coming from me to say to a manager of his caliber. But on that finals, he just didn't do his job. They lost. Big part was him. Of course, the players, they're the one playing, but he kept complaining the whole game, and that's all he did. Just keep complaining. Well, wasn't able to do much. He was definitely unhappy with the performance of English referee Anthony Taylor, who he definitely knows from being at Chelsea and Manchester United many times, many matches. And Sevilla won in penalties, but they easily could have won in the game, like during the regular time. So he confronted. You can see it in the cameras right there. He confronted in the parking lot, going towards his car or the bus that they were riding. And started yelling at them, insulting them. So, also Taylor and his family were subjected to abuse from supporters of Rome, and at the airport, as they travel home with their final to their final destination. So, you know, it's not fair for somebody that has a following like Mourinho does. He's been hated. Trust me, he's been hated before, and he still gets hated on, but still has a following. And nobody's a fan of referees. Referees, if you go to their Twitter account, they don't have, but their family members following them. So you know it's unfair to do all the circus, all that create all that ruckus, and because they get to suffer it because the fans don't think, the fans don't care. They just see their manager complaining in a manner that is not acceptable, and they just follow what he does. So they just have to lead by example, and that's definitely not what Mourinho did. So it's tough for him, but he's gonna have to. It's only 4 games anyway, man. He's gonna, well, actually, it depends. No, now that I think about it, 4 games in European competition, I'm sure, and that is something that's going to be interesting to see, because it depends. If you play Champions League, that's more than likely the whole group stage, so or close to it. So it's going to be interesting to see what unfolds there, and see what happens. I'm sure he's just going to have to do it. There's nothing else to it. Anyways, so let's move on forward to who do we got? Oh, Newcastle. Newcastle is close to agreeing a £70 million deal with none other the Sandro Tonali, the Italian AC Milan player, midfielder, good midfielder, great season. They're going to pay $70 million. When have you ever seen or thought of Newcastle spending £70 million on anybody? Well, that's going to help you now. I mean, Newcastle, they sounded to get Mbappe. They sounded to get many players simply because of who they're owned by now, and 70 million, boy, man, that's high, man. But now Newcastle, they can do it. And they're close on agreeing to a $70 million deal for Milan midfielder Sandro Tonali. Eddie Howe's top midfielder target this summer as well. And according to The Athletic, the transfer is in the final stages of negotiations, but Premier League club are not far from landing this player. David Ornstein, he's a journalist for The Athletic. He said Newcastle close to agreement with AC Milan to sign Italy international Sandro Tonali for fee in region of £70 million. 23-year-old, still got a lot of future left, man. But reports earlier this week suggested that Newcastle initially submitted a £50 million offer, but the Italy for him, but the Italy giant just said that's not enough, rejected. And Tonali coming in at the top of their summer shopping list, the club appears to have agreed to stump up their additional cash and potentially make Tonali their joint most expensive signing of all time with Alexander Isak. So this is going to be interesting to see, man. This is a good kid, a good player. You don't see very many Italians going to the Premier League. Have you ever noticed that? One thing that Italians and English or United Kingdom players, more than likely English more than the rest, they don't like to leave their country much. Well, I mean, they got good leagues, especially the Premier League, but you don't see them doing well and doing many transfers outside of their country. I mean, Bellingham is like, we talked about it in the previous episode. Will he break the ghost of past Englishmen outside of the Premier League, especially in Real Madrid? But now you don't see a lot of Italians out of Italy. I mean, you saw a few. Darmian to Manchester United. I can name you a few, but just a very, very few. So not very many times that this happens. So we'll see what happens with Tonali. He's a good player. A good prospect only, Only 23 years old, ladies and gentlemen. Can you believe that? Anyways, what's going on with Mount? What's happening with Mount, man? Well, Mount is simply the offer that they sent was rejected. Chelsea rejected an offer for Mount from Manchester United. And I had a question from a fan today. And he was like, why are we trying to sell Mount? Like, I know, Chelsea, we talked about earlier in the episode, Chelsea's trying to do adjusting, they're trying to do different things here and there, but why are they selling Mount? And I have to agree with that. I really have to agree with that. I don't know why they're trying to sell Mason Mount. I mean, he's a good player, and but I know that they're trying to shorten. They're trying to sell their players. They're trying to just move on from a few contracts. But Mount, I mean, it's kind of unheard of. But Chelsea have reportedly rejected Manchester United's improved bid for Mason Mount. Earlier on Wednesday, the Athletic David Ornstein also claimed that a package worth up £50 million is on the table for Chelsea's midfielder. The report started that the Blues were seeking in the region of $65 million to secure Mount's departure, and several sources, including Sky Sports, have revealed that the £50 million has been rejected by Chelsea. And the former academy prospect is in the final 12 months of his current deal with the West London outfit. So I guess Chelsea don't care that he leaves free. And I mean, as they shouldn't. They should protect. He's still got a lot of time. I mean, clearly he has. There has to be something going on where he is rejecting a renewal or something like that, because I don't understand why he would, why they would want to sell him. I don't get that. It's going to be interesting to see, like I said, but I don't know. I mean, he's just a good player. I feel like, I don't think his salary is crazy, but Manchester United would be a good sign for them, and if Chelsea is asking for 65 and they offered 50, listen, they're going to settle on 55, 57, maybe a couple add-ons right there. So, that stuff is going to get settled. If Manchester United really want him, it's going to get settled. My question is, and for everybody else out there listening, whether you're on Spotify, YouTube, or Twitch, or Facebook, or anywhere, why is why is Chelsea trying to sell Mason Mount? I really don't understand that. So I don't get it at all. Hey, what happened? Let's finish up with this short episode. What happened with Erling Haaland? Apparently he stops a fan from taking a picture with him simply because he's wearing Manchester United jersey. And well, listen, I don't get it. What is the point of that? You guys see it right there. He says, let's watch it. Okay, so he's so was the who did he try to see? You guys, a lot of people, if you're on Spotify, you're going to be able to watch. If you're just listening, you're going to have to let me narrate this to you. So the first boy, he tries to take a picture with him. He does take a picture with him, but he covers his Manchester United emblem. But there's a second boy right there that I would like to see what he does, because the second boy is lining up to take a picture with him, right? And then he just, so right there we don't know. Well, maybe we can hear some audio right there real quick. Okay, well, it doesn't seem, violent or anything like that. The way this came out was like he stops a fan from taking a picture with him after spotting his football jersey, uh, and that's not the case, man. This is fake news, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. It looked like he was playing with him, and that's okay. I mean, of course, he's polite enough to take a picture with the kid. Doesn't want to be rude, but he plays around, because he knows City fans are watching. But this happens everywhere, man. I watch a lot of South American football, and they're really crazy about, like, per se, River Plate versus Boca Juniors. But this happens everywhere. You see it right there in Europe. A lot of people are like, no, this only happens in South America. Let's eliminate everybody. No, this happens everywhere. I mean, this wasn't crazy. This was just him playing around with the kid, playing around slash being a little bit serious, but nothing. It wasn't polite. It wasn't. He wasn't not polite. I mean, he wasn't rude. He wasn't, trying to diminish the kid. I mean, he was just taking a picture. So it's no big deal, man. This came out. I got a notification with this. Like, did you see Haaland? What he did to that kid? And I was like, okay, well, I gave it to the team, and we told them I put it up, and we'll see what happens there, But this is nothing now, man. Come on, he's just playing around, and as he should. I'm sure City fans loved it, but it is what it is. By the way, Haaland and his teammates are expected to be back in preseason training for Manchester City towards the end of July as the club prepares for a tour of Asia, where they will take on 3 friendly fixtures against Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich, and Yokohama Marinos. Okay, well, that is it for the episode of this podcast. You can watch the full episodes of Soccer Talk podcast on YouTube or Spotify. You can watch the full episodes right there. You can listen to them on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, all your audio platforms. We're there as well. And but like I said, now you can enjoy them on Spotify and YouTube, the video form, the long video form. And also you can see the clips all over the YouTube channel as well. So if you don't mind, please go to the YouTube channel and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any more videos, because that's important. And listen, give us a thumbs up, help us grow, man. We're right there. We do it for y'all, and just because I like doing it too, and I have the passion. And like I said, also leave us a message, because we want to hear your opinion, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Spotify. You can leave us a voice message, Twitter, everywhere. You can join us, and we're going to be there. So thank you so much for listening. My name is Chris Rodriguez. We'll see you or hear you next time. Bye-bye.